Boom. The song ended at the exact moment that we were supposed to flip onto live. That's incredible timing. What's up, everyone? We are here. What's up, DJ Crystal Clear? What's up, Chris Chrome? What's up, anybody that's already watching on Facebook?
What up, though,
This is
fellas?
this is Our Perspectives. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and joining me is Littyyy Bro Flacko. And we are here to tell you what we think about the stuff that happened in the last week, sharing our perspectives. Just to let you know, our latest episode of our main interview show, Perspectives, with General Steel of Smith & Wesson, has come out. It's available on this very YouTube channel for those watching in the future. So click that, check it out, and hear all about the origin stories of how General Steel came to fall in love with music before he was the General Steel we know him as today. Yeah, we got a whole new Patreon video and stuff ready to, I guess, show you at some point as a little ad that we'll do at some point in this episode. And if you want to support what we do on the channel, make sure to hit us up at patreon.com/perspectives. And with your help, we'll be able to get help getting fire content and take the content we make and turn it into fire social media content to help our promo game so that we can all grow the community together. On that note, we like to start off the show kind of describing our week and what happened over the last week. So, for me, it was preparing this General Steel episode. Took a lot of effort and surgery with the audio and to get deep into the sounds of it all. I definitely heard this episode like 3 times in full before it aired, and I can tell you, super not boring. And that's important when you're editing. 'Cause sometimes you be editing and you're like, this is not lit. I gotta listen to this a whole other time still. But no, this was fire. I was like, this is good. And then yeah, we were trying to.
General Steel was very generous with his time with us. He was a generous, very generous man. Um, just a gem of a human being,
Yeah.
a gem of a legend in our culture. Thank you so much once again to General Steel for being so kind and gracious with his time.
Facts. And yeah, and then we basically spent the week trying to figure out the whole ticket selling, show promoting thing, and then all the stuff that goes on with that when navigating that many artists at one time and the logistics of it all. And then we threw the show and we successfully completed the event and then learned a whole lot of lessons in the middle of that. So lots of lessons have now been learned. And then I was just sick for the last 3 days. Like, I think I spent half a Saturday. Like, it was to the point where I took a COVID test just to see, because, like, I was like, this can't felt like that shit.
AC Cole.
I don't know. I think stress maybe or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it was like you can hear it in my voice. Like, I still haven't like snapped out of it. So like it was like this, but like way worse on Saturday, and I had no energy. And today I had some energy again, but we just not like back at it. So rest of the week we'll figure it out, but this is where we're at. I was like, I'm gonna be like proper and rest up like everybody always tells me to do when I'm sick.
Yeah, it's hard to actually find the time to really rest.
Yeah, I couldn't stay awake on Saturday. It was like every 3 hours I was back in bed.
I'm trying to find a place to put my phone so I
Yeah.
can see the chat. There we go. That should be good.
How was your week?
Good. Man, I want to talk about it, but there was a lot of secretive shit that happened that I cannot divulge to the public. So I had a good time.
Fair enough. You had a good time doing secret shit.
Right, right.
I mean, it is what it is. Like Chris said, mystery man.
It's a July 4th weekend in New York City, and a lot of crazy things happen July 4th weekend in New York City. And a lot of crazy shit happened, and I just don't want to talk about this on camera. So
Understand?
moving on.
I'm not saying you have to.
No,
I'm
we're
saying
no.
it's hilarious in the
I know you're
context
not
of the
saying that.
show.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just letting the people know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm trying to divulge as much as I can without saying anything. So
A lot of wild
yeah,
shit happened.
a lot of wild shit happened. I cannot tell you, people. If you see me in person ever, talk to me about it. I might feel in the mood to share. Be like, oh, that weekend, I can tell you all about it. Let me tell you. But I
And
will not
then,
tell the camera to tell the whole internet. That's
see,
called dry snitching.
that's called a good weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, right.
Yeah.
I hope everybody goes to check out the General Steel episode. It's a really good episode. We're not just saying that. Uh, yeah, man. Please go check it out.
Yeah. And then box office stuff.
Box office stuff. So the Flash tanked a second week in a row. The worst second weekend drop in the history of the superhero genre. So,
I don't think, from what I heard, it wasn't just the superhero genre. It was
oh
all
no,
the
it's tanking.
genres. All the
It's tanking.
genres were tanking real bad this week. Like
Wait, you
nothing.
mean all movies?
Pretty much everything flopped this weekend.
Right. Nah, but their shit's tanking bad. And this is on the heels of them already doing really bad with other things. I believe we covered The Rock and Black Adam doing really badly. And the
Mm.
Black Adam movie is also a DC property. It's a Warner Brothers movie. They've had like three bad movies in a row, like really bad numbers. Shazam Part 2 did bad, Black Adam did bad, and now The Flash is doing bad. So, like,
I know
all around,
Indiana Jones did bad. Some other little animated movie cost 70 million to make and pulled in 5. Like there's
right,
the, cause
right.
I was,
I tell you what's doing really well: Transformers and Across the Spider Verse, Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, animated Spider-Man movie. Those are doing fantastic. The numbers on those are through the roof. Um, Already, there's predictions that it's going to end up breaking the number one most animated. Like, so it'll probably take Frozen spot for the highest grossing animated movie of all time. So some things are still doing good.
I
Like
think
I try
it's
to tell
like,
people, you got to have
but
a good product.
it's also
Period.
like there's only certain stuff people really want to see in theaters, right? Like at this
Hmm.
point, like why I like to watch comedy at home when I can smoke weed. Like I'm not trying to go to the movie theater to watch like a lot of these comedies and fucking giant screens and shit. You
I
know,
guess it
like
depends, right? Because there's a lot of people that like in the comedy like loving world and comedy understanding world and comedians, it's highly like horror and comedy are two of the genres people love to see in theaters because you get scared more with other people who are scared, and then you laugh more when other people are laughing.
right,
So other people being scared next to you makes you also jump, and then people laughing next to you also makes you laugh. Um, but you
right.
know, really, all this stuff is definitely it's a changing. Later on in the show, we'll be talking about. You know what? Let's just talk about it now. Um, this is a con uh, subject that we were going to talk about, which was like I was going to talk about streaming versus sales, and like really, it's a conversation of people not understanding how like times change and things change. So like movies are way more accessible at home nowadays. So
Right.
yeah, there's less of a reason to go to movie theaters for
But
every single
also,
release.
but to add to that, not only is that the case, but like, movie theaters are disproportionately more expensive than they were if you compare to other normal inflation rates. So like the premium on going to a theater went from being like on $20, you can go see like a movie with two people with the popcorn and the drinks and all that shit, to like that's like 50, $60 now. So like
Mm-hmm.
the equal experience is way more expensive, and in a lot of cases, I don't think Hollywood has been as consistent. And there's some great shit out there. There's nothing to do. Marvel's crushing it clearly, um, and so like there's still good stuff, but I don't know. Like it's like the bars, and I've been thinking a lot about like indie shows and shit, right? Like expect and I ask kids what they care about when they go to a party. The number one answer is cheap drinks. Like there's this
Yeah,
element
yeah.
of accessibility that it's harder to go see movies and it's more accessible to watch them at home. In the same way with music and with everything else, it's just changed, like what you're saying, but there's a lot of elements to it.
I mean, there are, but right, there's still, if the formula wasn't working, then people wouldn't be spending billions of dollars going to watch big budget movies, right? So there's still, people are willing to spend their money to go see a movie and willing to spend $60. It's just, what movie are people going to spend that money on? I'd rather, if Tiana Taylor wasn't in the movie that I went to go see, I would not have gone to see it. I went to see it in movie theaters because it's Tiana Taylor, and I understand putting my dollars behind the products that I believe in and want to support. Most people don't understand that. People just don't. And this is a tale very old, very, very old. We've talked about this in uh, other ways, right? Like the fact that Nas has disproportionately sold less and less. Do me a favor, Holden. Go to Google real quick. Google Nas, go to his Wikipedia page, go to his discography, then go to the hyperlink for his album discography, right? And then
Right.
the pull up those numbers and start scrolling down those numbers because I
Oh,
want
like the.
people to see.
All
I
right,
want
hold on.
people to see the sales
Let me
on
share the
each
screen with you.
album. Mm-hmm. Share the screen.
I'm
I
working.
want people to see the sales because this is something that I know for a fact. I know these numbers. These are numbers that I've looked them up myself very often. So Illmatic went 2 times
He's like,
platinum
very often I look this shit up.
because people don't understand, and people, and Nas is my favorite subject matter when it comes to, because I love Jay-Z more because I'm about money, and Jay-Z's about commercial shit and not being like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I don't want popular beats that sound too good, I want the bad beats. These are all things that Nas has said. Don't start scrolling yet. Let me finish this, right? And people love to mention Nas in reference of Jay-Z, like, oh no, art always wins, it's about being a purist and being all these things. But those people are bullshitters because their numbers don't support their talk. Because if that was the truth, then these numbers will reflect that. So Illmatic sold 2 times platinum. It was written, went 3 times platinum. So real quick, we see it right there is a perfect disparity. On the album where he's just being super lyrical, fresh out the hood guy with no commercial songs, 2 times platinum. Soon as he gets Lauryn Hill to sing a hook for him, and he does songs like Street Dreams Are Made of These, and beats are a little bit more appealing. He got Tone and Poke, the track masters, 3 times platinum. And much more sales all around the world, right? Gold, platinum, gold. These BPI, MC,
I mean, you can
SNEP are numbers in other countries and other places. I'm not
you
sure
can also
exactly
just
which
see the
ones.
chart positions, right? Like he, I mean, granted,
Mm-hmm.
he already had a reputation, so fine, you could make that argument, but still, yeah, peak chart positions is forever and ever, so it could go up higher over time.
For peak chart, exactly. So then he goes from 3 times platinum to 2 times platinum, 2 times platinum to platinum, platinum to platinum.
And
Well,
even this two times
it went
platinum
higher.
here,
It went higher in sales. Let's give Stillmatic its props,
but
right?
he also
Uh,
had I Can and a few other really pop
yeah, he had
songs
hit
on that.
records on there. Then
As
he
it,
went. Then he went platinum with Godson. He went platinum with Streets Disciple, which is actually a disappointment because that's a deceptive number. That's a double album, so those sales are counted twice. So really, he went gold. It's just that
Because
because
it's
it's a
two
double
albums.
album, those
Each
they
sale
used to
counts
count
for
those
two
as two
albums.
sales.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
So really, he sold 500,000 copies of that album. Then Hip Hop Is Dead went platinum, went gold. It's saying, but it says 1 million sales. Then Untitled went gold. Life is Good went gold. Nasir didn't even sell. Now we're getting into the modern era. 47,000 streams, sales, 56,000 sales. Uh, Not even
Nothing.
registering. Right. People lie. People love to fucking pretend that they want to support a thing, but it's always the broke people with no money talking the most shit and not supporting a
Nah, hold up,
goddamn
hold
thing.
up. Even these broke people with those no monies and shit, like, look, Nas and Wu Tang is gonna come through to Montreal, and them tickets is gonna be expensive as fuck. I think they're actually it's not that expensive. I'm lying. It's pretty reasonably priced. It's, let's say, 60 American to go see them. Reasonably priced, to be honest. People will find the money to buy 2 or 3 tickets to that show for them and their peoples to go, and then on the night of they'll still spend $100 in merch, and then on the, like, they'll find that money. It's just that when it comes down to, like, they don't even want to hear the new songs at these shows though. They're going there to, like, listen to, like, that mid '90s shit again. They want to hear, like, their hits from back in the day. It's like this nostalgia move or something, but it's like they could, if they really wanted these guys to chart and make new music, take $20 of them dollars and throw it at iTunes. I think you can buy a single 4 times, and that makes a huge
This is the
difference.
thing. This is the thing is that it's all they they were already not supporting back when it was still sales. I remember I was there. I remember people saying Nas was better than Jay-Z, but they didn't support with their dollars when there was still no Napster. No Napster, no internet, still stores that they could go to, but they didn't go there. They could go to those stores and buy the album twice if they really, because that's the way that you make somebody win is by supporting with your dollars and your cents. The way that I did with Tiana Taylor's movie, I went to the movie theater because I wanted it to count. I wanted those sales to count. I wanted her to have numbers going to the movie theater and supporting her movie. Same thing with albums. Right now, people are talking so much shit. I've seen so many rappers, battle rappers, underground people talking about how, oh, sales, Billboard says no rapper has gone #1 this year. I told you guys the music is trash. It's finally being supported with the numbers. That's not what's happening at all. That's not what's happening at all. Because if that was the case, then Nas's whole career would be garbage because he never hit #1. And most of their favorite rappers that existed in the 90s and most of those songs that they think of as like huge hits, Cream, Wu-Tang Clan, has never gone #1 with a single. They've never had a #1 Billboard Hot 100 single. Cream, Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Cream, Get the Money. It did not peak at #1. So I don't know what those people who supposedly are purists and are from that era and love that stuff, or maybe aren't from that era and just admire that era and they swear that was the best era ever. If you say that sales don't make the best rapper, I don't know how you can then look at Billboard and say, oh, because this generation this year didn't have a #1 Billboard hit, this era's music is just trash. That's just not the way it works. Also streams, right? Like I was having a back and forth with Excel, shouts to Excel on Facebook today about Coi Leray, right?
Just to be
And
clear, Cream got to 60th on the Hot 100. I just wanted to check.
Yo, this is my point that I'm
But
trying to
that's
make,
it.
right?
It only peaked at 60. It never even, like,
It only
got to no
peaked at
top
60.
10.
It only
And
peaked at 60. So it means nothing. So those people saying, oh, no rapper reached Billboard #1 hit this year. That proves that
and
this
then
generation's
guess
music
who
is
did?
trash.
Guess who comes through and he hits #1 right after? Lil Uzi Vert with the fucking pink
Yeah,
tape.
right, right. So, I mean, but really, the point that I'm trying to get to, right, is just the fact that it doesn't mean anything. Like, you don't have to hit number one for your song to have a lasting effect on humanity, society, the culture of hip hop, all that shit. Hot
Fact.
97's been doing this series where they go through and they're trying to pick the 50 best songs of all time in hip hop. And like, it's a daunting task, right? The amount of songs that are considered classic music to us that has never hit number one is just that too vast to count. Way
That's
too
because
vast to
I
count.
don't think people realize that like hip hop was an underground thing until it wasn't. And a
Yeah.
lot of us who grew up, like, I'll be real, my entire adult life, hip hop has been the number one genre. And when I was younger, it was still climbing its way out. But it was rock and shit when I was young. That was like really the dominant force of shit. And it was like rap wasn't perceived the same shit as it is now. I don't think people have that perspective. So it's like they never would have been number one. They were like, they didn't even have their own charts at first, right? Like, wasn't it just urban
Yeah,
music or
no.
something like that?
Yeah. I was on the R&B charts. The thing is this, right? So my back and forth with Excel was about Coi Leray, and he said she only sold 10,000 copies of her album. It's that's a that's one of those headlines that people share a lot nowadays. That is kind of like, it's purposely used to throw salt at artists. Like, oh, this person that's not Drake and not Taylor
Oh,
Swift only
she
sold 10,000
only
copies.
only got 40 million people to click on her Spotify.
Only,
Only.
only, only got 40 million. That's the thing, is that you're judging it by a false metric. Only sold 10,000 copies in an era where people don't go to no motherfucking stores to buy albums. So these
Nope.
people, they that are probably streaming the music for free, went out of their way to go to the Apple iTunes store or to Amazon store and make a fucking purchase, and to like purchase the MP3s of the fucking album to support the artist. So 10,000 people
I
on top of
mean,
streaming her album
is
went
that
and
like
purchased the
is that
album.
like 10,000? Is that like the sales that combines physicals and the algorithm, like, or was it like 10,000 actual sales?
Sales, 10,000 sales.
Because there's an
That's what it's counted
equivalency
at.
metric, right? Where like if you
Equivalency metric, but that's when we're talking about streaming, and streaming being turned into dollars, and what it takes to get your stream and your sales for you to register gold and platinum certification. It takes X amount of streams
Okay,
that
so
then
the
in
stream
turn.
conversion only has to do with the golden shit. It has nothing to do with the
No,
actual
this
sales.
this all of it, right?
Right.
So the RIAA um counts your streams, your YouTube plays, which is streams as well,
Yeah.
technically speaking, and your sales, your physical sales, to generate their numbers. So those 10,000 digital sales go on top of her streams that count up to whatever number they've gotten to. I'm unaware of what her streams have done so far in the first week, right? Since she dropped on Tuesday, right? So like, I'm unaware of what the actual stream numbers are, but those stream numbers then get, you know, turned into the number that is whatever, if it does register as gold or not. And then those 10,000 sales also count on top of those streams towards
Right.
that gold or platinum certification. So, but the point being is that she got 10,000 people or 10,000 sales on top of 40 million streams on Spotify. That's Spotify that you went to check, correct? Right.
Yeah, well, that was monthly followers. So
That's
that means in
monthly
the last
followers.
28 days, almost 40. It was 38.5, but almost 40 million people clicked on her shit and at least did a partial listen. Which, when
Yeah.
you think about that in terms of like, I think Nas when we last checked was like 6 million or something. So just by comparison, and like, it's like an astounding accomplishment. however you want to break it down. If you can get 40 million people to do
Astounding accomplishment.
40
Astounding.
million people, that's more people. She has the population of Canada fucking clicking on her shit, as if every human in Canada did it. Like, that's how many people actually do
I
it,
had
for
looked up her
perspective.
numbers before. So her song stats are 38.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
That's a Canada.
430. She's on 435 playlists in Apple. 37.2. Wait, 1.97 billion views on Instagram. Billion with a B on Instagram. 4.39 million on TikTok. 1,154 videos on YouTube dedicated to Coil Ray. 15 million Shazams. Coil Ray is doing just fine, yo.
You
Just
gotta
fine.
understand,
She's
that
doing
Shazam
excellent.
metric is crazy.
Fantastic.
Because that means that
She's
that's
doing
somebody that
fucking
pulled out their
fantastic.
phone,
She is
heard
now
that
a
shit,
top.
and had to check what the song was. That's 15 million times.
She's now a top selling mainstream artist. So 10,000 said, but again, people, if you're like, oh, but she sold, and this is where, like, this is why I say, like, all this shit is deceptive. You're judging her by sales, like, oh, but Jay-Z or Eminem sold 10 million. Jay-Z sold 6 million of Hard Knock Life in an era where there was no streaming. Ice Spice streamed 1 billion. None of those guys did that. It's different eras and different metrics and different things, okay? So streaming is easier for Ice Spice and Coil Ray because guess what? They live in a streaming era. And sales were
Hold on.
easier
I
for
don't even
Michael
think
Jackson.
everyone
You
that
want to know
talks
why?
about this whole
Because he
streaming
lived
is
in a
easy.
sales era.
And everybody talking about streaming is easy. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that motherfucker has never tried to get a person to listen to their Spotify one time. Because getting people to listen to your music.
Nah, you're taking you personal. That's not who we're talking about. We're not talking about you. We're not talking about me. We're talking about mainstream artists. Mainstream artists with a big budget behind them and all that, right? And what I'm saying is not that it's easy. It's that it's easy. It's because why? They don't have record stores. Go, Holden, where's your local record store? Tell me what was the last album that you went to purchase physically in a store? Okay then. Where the fuck do you listen to music, Holden?
Streaming.
Spotify, no?
Facts.
You Spotify, right? You love Spotify.
I do love Spotify.
You listen to all your music on Spotify, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, exactly then. That's what fucking people are doing. They're streaming. So the stream...
I was trying to like put it into...
It's like saying, hold on, I'll put it to you a better term. Listen. Ice Spice also streamed more than Mozart, Holden. Why do you think that is, Holden? I'm not talking about Mozart music right now. I'm saying there was no streaming in Mozart's fucking era. So Mozart isn't going to be the artist breaking streaming records in his era because that's not the form of the way that music got around in that time.
That's fair.
Same as Michael Jackson, when he was alive, there was no streaming. There were sales. People physically went and purchased albums in stores. Now, people don't physically go and purchase albums in stores. They stream them online. So streaming is easier because that's what we do. We used to listen to CDs. Before that, it was tapes. Before that, it was records. Before that, it was fucking live performances. Times change. The way that people listen and consume music changes. And so the numbers reflect that. And you can't judge a modern artist by old standards. That's not the way that shit works. It just doesn't make sense. Just
but
like,
even
what?
to that end, people act like these things are all easier or harder by comparison, but it's like, even relative to everyone else, Ice Spice is just killing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Murdering. So listen, there's a good plug. Our interview with General Steel, right? He's had songs on Billboard because he was a mainstream fucking artist in the golden era. He was a guy who was competing with Jay-Z, Biggie, and everybody else of that era. That was his competition. Your competition and my competition is totally different than General Steele's competition. General Steele's competition was fucking Biggie, was motherfucking Nas, was fucking Jay-Z. All right? And what did General Steele say in that interview? When those artists make it big, they hustle hard. He wants to take a Sunday off. Okay? There's a difference between the people at the top and everyone else. Okay? The people at the top, they're working every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. They don't play. They don't take no time off. Drake has been constantly plugging away. Kendrick Lamar came, goes away, came, goes away. You can't be number one like that. Number one is the guy that shows up every day and hits fucking home runs. That's who number one is. That's why Jay-Z was number one and Nas wasn't. Same thing with Jay-Z and Nas. It was the same thing as Kendrick Lamar and Drake, where Jay-Z was like, yo, I got my foot on this gas. I have, I'm putting my name in contention for the best ever. I got to keep going. I can't take too much time off. Or there's another guy coming up behind me who's going to take my spot. I got to fucking hustle harder than everyone else in my era. And he did. And that's why he's the GOAT of that era. And then Drake is the GOAT of his era. And now Coi Leray gets to be a GOAT of her era because she's working harder than everybody else. She's up at Matt Hoffa's podcast. She got BET Awards. She's putting all the women in hip hop all over her fucking shit. She's working hard. She's working hard. She deserves her shit. She deserves her props. Same as all the artists nowadays deserve their props. Same as our artists deserve their props. Same as my parents' artists deserve their props. Every era has their moment in the sun. We got to be careful not to hate on the next generation and what they're doing, because that's some corny shit.
Facts. I don't think you should hate on the next ones for doing it, or be mad that it's different. Because as much as people like think things are easier, it's like, nah. Like, yo, how long did it take to make a TikTok? I don't know. If you really make a TikTok, you're like, wow, a good TikTok is gonna take you a lot more time than a bad TikTok, because the good TikTok, that person reshot it till perfection.
Till perfection.
And they know what
that's perfection the way it goes.
Is. Because they keep
doing the YouTubers.
It.
I tell people all the time, I don't want to be a YouTuber. Those guys, to make it successful, they give up. They work harder than you do at your 9 to 5. They're working, same thing, 24/7, 365. Constantly working on their channel, their content, making sure that it's like shit that can really get clicks and drive viewers. They're working on everything really hard. There's no time off. Harder than a fucking 9 to 5, yo. And that's what it takes to be great, is to be that guy. General Steele said that in his interview with us on Perspective. Like, yo, those people that are up there, they work real hard. They grind real hard. They hustle real hard to get there, yo. And that's everyone in every era. There's all those people that you think are whack. Milli Vanilli. Yo, they worked hard to get where they got. They work hard to get there. Even once all the songs weren't, you go fucking days on end, performing after performing, interview after interview, all that shit. Yo, it's daunting. Artists die.
You don't even get to sleep
shit.
In your fucking bed. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like crazy, but like, when you go away for even a week, you're kind of like, bro, I miss my bed a lot, actually. And it's like, imagine you're just gone, you're sleeping in cars, you're driving everywhere, especially the first part, you're probably driving everywhere. You might fly across an ocean, right back. Like, I just saw General Steele posted today on Instagram that they're in Spain or something, and their car broke down on the side of the highway, and they were just stranded there with the road guy for like an hour, and thank God they had a little something to get through the day kind of thing. And it was like, you know, that's just what it is. And it was, to me, it was like one of those like humbling reminders that you could be like wherever you are, and that's just life. It's just how it be.
People always,
but they still be driving too, you know, like
driving, absolutely. People, it's a situation of people always thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. You know what I mean? The thing is that, like, at the end of the day, being an artist, being like, eat the rich works until we eat the rich, and you realize that, like, in a communistic society, there's still lazy people that don't keep up their end of the bargain. Like, it don't matter, bro. You can't change human nature. There's gonna be lazy people everywhere you motherfucking go. So tomorrow we eat the rich. We eat Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. I always forget fucking Amazon guy's name.
Jeff
I always forget
Bezos.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, the only two that I really like remember their names. I always forget Elon Musk. I call him Tesla guy. And then which is hilarious because it's like there's a Tesla guy. It
And the
was
Tesla guy was
Nikolai
pretty
Tesla.
cool.
Nikolai Tesla.
And he
You know what
was
I mean?
cool. And then back then, Edison was the shithead.
I mean, I had a back and forth with someone on Spaces about this where they were saying that like Elon Musk is not original. He doesn't invent nothing. Neither does Zuckerberg. And I'm like, I contest that. Neither did Edison. But you know what? He
Edison did
did.
not.
He did. He was smart enough to be like, you know what, son, you don't know how to do this. Like tomorrow, you invent something, Holden, a dance move.
Yeah.
You put it on TikTok. It gets 100 views. I say to myself, Holden doesn't know what he's doing with this. Let me get that dance, son. I take the dance, I do it myself, and I get 1 million views. I don't give a fuck, bro. Fuck you. Fuck your fucking unoriginal, unable. Nah, my fault. I'm unoriginal, right? Fuck you're unable to market your shit to the right people ass. You know what I mean? Like, fuck me for being unoriginal. Fuck you for not being able to make it great. Fuck you for not being able to
But
fucking get people
like
to
what
believe in you.
Edison?
Do whatever it
I mean,
is.
it's not that different than like, okay, like look at it like Tesla was like the artist and Edison was like the
Yeah,
money man.
the
And
label.
he
Yeah,
flipped
he was the
shit.
money man.
He knew how
Yeah,
to do that,
exactly.
and he wasn't
Money
afraid.
people
He
do
was
that.
comfortable doing all the shit he did because Edison did some
Listen, we
vile shit.
sound like
Anyway,
we sound like some first world capitalist loving fucking billionaire enthusiasts, right? But the truth is, at the end of the day, like, it's true, man. Like, yo, we still learn about Nikola Tesla, and he's still appreciated. And there's people right now who shit on Edison's memory and give Tesla all the props. So until we all dead and gone for 100 solid years, we don't know what the fuck is our memory gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You
that's
don't
a
know
crazy
who
thought
is or
still.
isn't great, and people don't ever think like that in those terms. I was having also a conversation about like the most famous people, and like people, guys were saying that Snoop Dogg has got to be one of the top 5 most famous people. And then when I looked up lists online, they were wildly upset to find out that Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk take up these spots. And I'm like, how are you upset at that? Don't you understand? Like, people, humans innately don't know how to take themselves out of themselves. And that's a sure shot sign of you being either a sociopath, a egomaniac, or just way too self-involved, that you can't see outside yourself and beyond yourself. You can't look up numbers and understand there's billions of people in China, there's billions of people in Europe, there's billions of people all over Africa, there's more and more people all over the world that don't talk your language and don't look like you, they don't dress like you, they don't think like you.
And even within the English sphere of people alive, why would Snoop Dogg be more famous than somebody like Donald Trump? On some real shit. On some real
I mean,
shit.
Donald Trump is a
I'm
tricky
talking
one
like
because becoming a
pres.
president makes you like
But that's
immediately
my
way more
point.
famous. Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
talking current day
yeah,
Donald Trump
yeah,
is
yeah.
more famous, I would say, than most people on earth. Because even people that aren't in your country follow his careers to this
Yeah.
day and shit.
There was
So
one
it's
list that I looked up that he was up there with the Abraham Lincolns.
because
Like,
like,
it was a list that included people, like, it wasn't just, it was mostly dead people
yo, I hope
as
you're
the most
okay,
famous
Lindell.
people ever.
Lindell saying he got
As
cell tower damage for 6 days, and the people down in Florida are having trouble communicating.
Damn, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that, Linda. I hope you get your shit worked out as soon as possible. Um, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, that list was mostly people who are dead, right? Like Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy. Albert Einstein, right? People like that were in the top 5. And inside that top 10, alive people was Donald Trump and I forget, I think it was Bill Gates. You know what I mean? Which, like, I don't know. To me, that's just very understandable.
I mean, Bill
I've I've
Gates
I've
has been part of
I
like
worked
he
an event
cured malaria
recently.
and shit.
I worked an event recently where we did some AV work for a high end um, dental uh, uh, dentist with private practices, and there were groupies there for the dentist. So I'm talking about groupies that followed these dentists from China and Africa and Europe, all over the world, depending on where the dentist in particular was from.
Yo, it
And
kind of
that's
makes
what that,
sense.
like, people don't understand. People like, and that made me like, it's just one of those simple things, kind of like Americans complaining about, like, oh, China gave us the bad TikTok, their kids are all watching educational stuff, our kids are getting fed poison. No, your kids are shitheads because you're a shithead, so they're looking up nothing but poison because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. But the kids in China are focused on their future and school and studies, so they look up educational shit. And that's it. There's
Well,
no
I mean,
conspiracy theory happening.
it's
People
just
like to conspiracy
everyone
theorize
wants
about a lot of
the.
things that
There's not
aren't
much
really a
happening there.
conspiracy theory.
Especially with that is like people specifically tell the government to stay the fuck out of parenting, and you create this app where you let your kid on even though they're probably younger than 13, and then you're surprised that like because all these fucking apps have like like real like age limits. Like you're not supposed to be on YouTube if you're under 13. They made a YouTube Kids app and shit and whatnot, so everybody just lets their kid do what the fuck they want. And then what they're also not doing is pressuring the government to like make sure that their kids are protected on these apps. Instead, they're saying stay the fuck out of our parenting. Whereas in China,
Yeah,
government goes fuck what you want. I know what's best for you, son, and that's what
right,
China does. Whether or not
right,
you think they're right, that is their approach to this type of shit.
right. I mean, you also do have to admit, right? Like, it's one of those things. Like, China is like one of the top 5 countries in education, period. Right? Like, their
Because
kids, their students are
they
high up
did.
there. China
Everybody
and
has to do
Japan
shit, you know.
constantly compete for the top spots. Like, this isn't a racial thing. This is just a factual thing. You could
It's
Google it
it,
and look it up,
no,
right?
I mean,
Like,
but
the
it's like it
United
makes
States of
sense.
America, the United States of America is very, very far from them. Very far. Like, they're like in the double digits
You
for
just have to like
sure.
look at the
Late
court cases.
teens.
Motherfucking people are going out in the states and protesting teachers over whether or not there's fucking saying gay in a story in a school, and that's like the real focus of a large
Yes.
number of parents.
And so
And
and
that's not
so
related to nothing about learning.
And so I said that to point out that, like, right, and I hear you on all your points, right? But what I was saying backs up with what I'm saying, which is that's why China got fucking groupies for dentists. Ain't no groupies for dentists in America. You know what I mean? Because niggas be on goofy shit. So it's like, yo, all that other shit, nice, cool, yeah, communistic country, maybe they're controlling the thing, or maybe their kids are just fucking smarter because they care about their education more than in America. And that's what the kids out there are voluntarily searching when they're on TikTok. They're like, yo, I'm 13. You know what fucking matters? Me passing, me fucking like doing good in school. I should look up videos to
Nah,
help
I'm
me
pretty sure it's the government
do
forced
better.
the algorithm to shove that content down their throat, is my
I
understanding
mean,
of it.
that's what you're saying, right? Like, I need to see like evidence of it. I see on one hand China has dentists that have groupies. I see on another hand that China has children that are doing better than most countries, almost every country in test scores and in fucking grades. I see fucking, oh, TikTok, their kids are looking up, like, yo, you could smudge those numbers. You could be like, yo, communistic country, they're sending their kids. You can't stop human nature. If the kids wanted to be shitheads like they are in America and all these other countries, the kids would still be searching other things.
So my
that you'd be able
understanding
to
is
easily
that
search.
that is really not how it plays out over there, and that it is not the case. Like, I was having a chat with somebody, and we were having the China versus whatever conversation, and he's like, you know what, we couldn't have this conversation on Discord in China because the fucking government will pull up at your crib and fucking arrest your whole family. You can't even do it abroad, bro. Like, it's actually weird and scary. I would have to go really find a bunch of evidence to show you, but like everything I've seen from over there when it comes to what's permitted on the internet, nah, it's more like parents are probably forcing their kids to look up educational shit so that their social credit score is good enough, and it's government like influence the way that our shit is on like a fiscal credit score. Their shit's on a social credit score, so I'm sure it's like your kids best be looking up educational shit or else.
I mean, yeah, I guess, that sounds like excuse making to me, personally speaking, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, people will say anything to get out of, like, yo, you're number fucking 25. You're number 25, right? Like, if the numbers didn't back it up, if Chinese kids weren't fucking actually going out into the workforce, into the world, being incredibly successful, proving their system, right? Correct. Like, if their system didn't work, then when they come over to the United States of America, there'd be a lot more fucking, oh, we're just gonna shit this away, fuck this, welfare, blah blah. Like, nah. Oh, we got to America. Now we need a reality show talking about how crazy we are. Like, listen, man, it is what it is, right? Like, they're still actually doing really well in the
So
workforce in
I
other countries
definitely, I'm not
all over
saying
the
that
world.
the Chinese way of doing things is one of my, so like without trying to like piss off the internet, I had this realization that the way that immigration changes culture in neighborhoods here makes it so that it's a lot harder to unify. But you go to look at something like a China, where it's the Chinese government says this is what we're focusing on, the whole country best get in line. They get to like really do some shit. Like, maybe they're not good at everything, and that the American model is better at other things, but like, yo, their model produces some crazy efficiencies for all the corruption and bad stuff and things we can, because there's a lot of suspect shit in their numbers. But even with all
Right.
that, the homogenized focus of a country that isn't distracted by like 17 cultures trying to duke it up for number one media slot, like, it's a different priority. And you're not really supposed to check the government over there. It's more like the government says what's up, and you just do it, because otherwise you might disappear or your whole family disappear. Like, they're
Right.
really
I
on some
mean, that
mob
kind of
shit.
sounds like what happened to all of Black Panthers. That kind of sounds like everything that's ever happened to everybody political in the United States of America. Everything that you said, that sounds like, oh, they be smudging numbers, shit be going down. It's kind of crazy over there. It's like, wow, that sounds like America. They be smudging numbers. Yeah, yeah. Listen, there's a movie called The Propaganda Game. We'll get off of this because, right, like, we've been
I mean,
lingering
this is
and we
fucking
got
great.
wild topics to do, right? But like, there's a movie called The Propaganda Game. It's a documentary about the propaganda game that America plays with North Korea and that North Korea plays with America. I'm not saying that communism is perfect. What I am saying is that there be a lot of dick eating when it comes to like fucking capitalism and America, right? Like, all the things that people say that are bad about China, it's like, when you finish the sentence, think to yourself, does this apply to America as well? And I'm almost 9 times out of 10 sure that it will be yes is the answer. Matter of fact, even when it's, oh, but they're no, but we're free here, and over there they just do things, and you just gotta like deal with it. It's like, that still sounds like America that
Yo,
does things, and we just gotta deal with it. It just is what it is.
The
And if
American
they and
government will just like hide statistics. Like, I found out
hide
at one
statistics,
point
hide the
that
things that they do.
there's no public record of the effectiveness of condoms in America. As in, the government does not study and publish this metric. So it's like you'd think that that's a pretty important stat, like, are condoms effective? Do they work? And then because of some lobbying bullshit and the religious groups, they made it like you're not allowed to have that shit. This is dead ass. Planned Parenthood has a whole thing breaking this shit down. Like, this is the history, and they did all the
Yeah,
research first. But like
I
when you
don't hear
look
no
into,
difference between communism and religion.
that's
It's
all.
like, okay, so thanks to religion, thanks to freedom of religion, we get rights repealed, kind of like
Facts. Isn't that like,
communistic countries.
yeah, and like the Supreme Court's going ham right now, like ham, fucking undoing shit left, right, and center.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about affirmative action getting repealed or rolled back. I don't know what's the exact best word to use for it. I've
I
seen
think
so many different words.
I think repealed
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, I just had a discussion about words, and repealed is like one of them that I think a lot of people use in the wrong way, a lot of times, wrong context. But yeah, let's read uh,
Does it just play it?
more informed people.
Is that what happens if you click that?
I don't know. I don't know. Listen.
Today, the
Yeah.
U.S. Supreme Court effectively ended race-conscious admissions policies at colleges and universities across the country. In a pair of rulings along ideological lines, the court invalidated admissions programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. NPR legal affairs correspondent Nina Totenberg reports.
The decision reverses decades of precedent upheld over the years by narrow Supreme Court majorities. Chief Justice John Roberts, a longtime critic of affirmative action programs, wrote the decision for the court majority. Many universities, he said, have for too long concluded wrongly that the touchstone of an individual's identity is not challenges bested, skills built, or lessons learned, but the color of their skin. Our constitutional history does not tolerate that choice. Noting that the court's most recent affirmative action decision in 2003 had suggested that there would have to be an end to such programs at some future point, Roberts essentially said that time has now come.
It feels tragic.
Columbia University President Lee Bollinger has for 30 years been a leading proponent.
That's crazy. They're just like, the
Yeah,
time
man.
has come. It has to end.
I mean, it's because it's listen. This is very simple. This is all because Donald Trump got to become president after Obama, right? And when he became president, he made it that the Supreme Court is now a conservative majority. It's now a conservative majority. They're always going to be able to win with things like this. So a lot of these things are going to be getting rolled back. A lot of things that Roe v. Wade, this, affirmative action, like there's going to be a lot of things. And I see all sorts of reactions. I've seen black people online saying good, no big deal. To which I'm like, I don't think that you fully understand the like ramifications. Like, and one of the people was sharing like a young black girl graduates from college after beating cancer, and he's like, "Oh, there's an example of like, see, we'll be just fine regardless of affirmative action." I'm like, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. Me being great isn't what, oh, no big deal. I'll be fine because I'm great and I can overcome anything. It's like, nah, that was there in place because regardless, we were already doing that and they weren't giving us a chance, an opportunity. So this got us in a door by any means necessary. And now that any means necessary is gone, and companies and because it just kind of keep on going after that, right? Like right now, it's just these two universities and whatever else they mention, but it can easily continue going, kind of like Roe v. Wade, right? Like in New York, it's not repealed, but in Texas, it's repealed. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah, it's gonna really, like, if you really want to run that conspiracy theory side of life, it's like, it's really dividing the USA in like a really divided way, where like the red states are going one way, a la max, and the blue states to a point where it'll be like culturally significant enough that down the line there could be some bad stuff coming. I
Really
I
bad.
don't mean to like fearmonger. It's just like there's a lot of
Nah.
weird hate shit that's happening, and the polarization of these issues. Like, I don't know. Like, I can kind of understand how if you're in a really, really white part of the world where you never met a person of color or heard their experiences, you could look at affirmative action as some anti-racist, racist thing or whatever the justification they
You could
use
be a
is.
black person. You could be a black person or a person of color who's one in a community, a sea of something else, right? And not feel like, oh, because I'm in this community and I'm fine, it's fine. Like people are crazy.
But
And it's like, no, you just have a unicorn situation happening. You
like I've
can't,
seen systemic racism in action. I've seen it in the workplace, and it isn't companies. It's when individuals who happen to have certain prejudices hold sway. Because like one of the big rules of work that I learned is if your golf don't want to take you, if your boss don't want to take you golfing one day, get the fuck out that company because you're never moving up. It's like people want to hang out with you and shit. So it's like when the powerful positions do get filled by bigots, it's like bigot shit happens. And then you can't
mm-hmm,
always see it or predict it, and bigots learn how to code switch too. It's not just gangsters who code switch, everybody code switches. Everybody fucking figures out ways to communicate what they mean without saying what they mean and all this other shit. So, like, there's a lot of stuff. Like in Quebec, it was notorious that unless you have a French last name, you're not moving up in a company. So I got fucking lucky because my last name's French. Just luck. But if it was something else, like, you know, imagine it was some African last name or something, bro, you don't get callbacks. I can't go into too much
mm-hmm.
detail, but I have been asked to profile in hiring in the past.
Yeah.
I can't go into too much, but if I participated in it, you know, like,
Yeah. I used to work in human
it's
resources.
everywhere,
I used to
bro.
hire and fire. I used to hire and fire for multiple different companies, and I can absolutely attest to that fact. And yeah, you're right, and that's why I don't walk away from those positions, and I take them on, even though the money doesn't ever equal the time and effort, right? Like you could never equal that, but I know that I have everybody's best interest at heart, and I'm going to be fair. I know I'm going to be fair because I know how in control of my ego I am, and I know how to put my ego aside. I work with all sorts of people that I don't get along with on a personal level, right? But that's not what matters to me. What matters at the end of the day is like, do you do a good job? Do you know all the things that matter, you know? And so, and making sure that people of color aren't being kept away from opportunities of progressing because of the people at the top at management. And so that's important for me to do that everywhere I'm at and be able to give the opportunity to other people that look like me so that it's not just a white boy. Because it is an all white club. Whenever you get there, whenever you get to the top of anything or in the management of anything, miraculously, doesn't matter. You could be in an all black neighborhood. And it's like, where did all these white people come from? Where that's not the community I see every day. How is it that the board of the community is white, but the community is all black? You know, how is it that this company that functions in a city that's not an all white city has everybody at the top that's white? And it's like one or two black people, a Latino, a Asian, and then like 10 white people. Those are disproportionate numbers. Like it's not speaking to the way that the country is actually divided, you know? And it's important to me to be able to uh, kick open my own doors and then like hold them open for those behind me. Because if not, then it'll be a room full of like 15 white guys and like two black people, one dark, one light skin, because they do shit like that. They like to be thematically, you know? They're like, oh, he'll be our representation, you know, and that's it for them, you know. And so, yeah, affirmative action getting, you know,
Yeah,
cut
and
back
people
in
may
those
think it's
places is
like,
bad.
and people may think it's like not like that, and In Montreal, a lot of the music festivals are funded by government programs, and part of the government programming is to allocate everything very specifically and shit. So you have to have this many artists, and then multiculturalism play is gonna always enhance your shit. But now you're commodifying the roles into check boxes and shit. Now this is a good thing and a bad thing, because it means a lot of people who would not get opportunities in the regular world are being thought about and included. It also blindsides how people get picked. So I guess that's the problem with people's anti-affirmative actions, is that you can go very checkboxy with it, where if you're indigenous, you're gonna get a gig, and if you're a woman of color, you're gonna get a gig, and and there's nothing wrong with that, because when you really look at the capitalism side of it all, and you really look at it, I think in the tech industry in Canada, something like 8 out of 9, if there's like 9 CEOs for the tech industry, only one of them's a woman, for like across the board to this day. Like when you really look at how power is distributed, women are in all the volunteer positions of power for the most part. Men don't even volunteer. They don't even show up at volunteer time. So they just leave all these sectors completely open.
Yeah.
And they're just in.
Not surprising.
And you go look at all these mega CEOs. It's just white dudes for days. Just for days. You go look at the billionaire list, and you can count the number of non-white billionaires usually on like a hand type of thing. Like, yes, now there's a lot more billionaires, so of course there's more billionaires of color, but it's still disproportionate.
Yeah, it's pretty disproportionate. I'll tell you this much. I don't see a lot of new niggas from New York City in the hood on that fucking, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the shit that I'm looking for. I'm looking for my representation. I'm looking for my, and knowing people come from this city gives me a background on them and their like level of like openness. Man, I think that if we keep on talking about political shit, we're gonna be on these topics forever. Bieber's NFT sold to him for $1.31 million. NFT now worth $59,000.
Yo, NFTs are goofy.
Yo, NFTs are a good example of like, yo, not everything online is gold, bro.
I mean, like, NFTs are an example of something where people, like, look, when the NFT thing came out, I'd already nerded on this tech before it was popular. I found some math videos that explained blockchain to me and shit. So when NFTs pulled up, I was like, hold up. So it's like the certification shit they do for art. And, like, maybe there's some cool shit that happens. So, like, when Tom McDonald managed to cop an Eminem beat off of an NFT gig, maybe there's something there for that value, depending on what you want to do with it, if you're trolling Eminem and that's your career. But, like, for the most part, nobody got things out of these NFTs. The only successful or interesting models were, like, you get tour packages and shit. So, like, there's some, like, maybe Foo Fighters fan that has free concerts for life now. That guy won the NFT game. Because he gets to go see his favorite band forever. But unless somebody, like, came at it like that on a community tip, which is what it was designed for, it's almost like meant to be a community perk system in a video game that you could kind of regulate with a transferable token. And then the whole world was like, let's sell art. And you're like, wait, what do you mean? Let's sell JPEGs and shit. Let's just sell fucking anything. Right. Let's sell songs. And even songs. I know that, like, I know there's like 150 musicians that made a lot of money off this shit. But I know so many more musicians that did not make no money off of their NFT efforts.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. There's a whole community online of crypto NFT rappers that are like that was literally in their title, crypto NFT rappers. You know what I mean? Like,
I linked up with some dudes in the metaverse. We were freestyling in the metaverse for a while because, like, don't get me wrong, I'm on board with parts of all this shit. I love VR clubhouses. To me, it's just clubhouses with avatars. It's Twitter Spaces with avatars. That's what I want. But, like, motherfuckers was really, like Chris got tipped in crypto one time. Like, people were really about this shit. Like, they were willing to invest in. There's a dude who left Montreal. This guy's a crazy beat maker, was doing whatever, and they guys got into like, how are we gonna redo the music industry with NFT tech? And they really went in for it. Like, I'm sure they spent like crazy money, all this shit, and then the whole world found out that like a bunch of old dudes, middle-aged crisis fucking like midlife crisis motherfuckers, got robbed on Discord, and now there's no market left, because that's all it ended up being. A bunch of old dudes in their midlife crises getting robbed by young people. That's the NFT, because none of it made sense. You could sign a piece of paper and it has the same legal fucking value as an NFT.
Right. I don't know, man. It definitely never made sense to me. Like, the blockchain stuff always did, right? Because it's like, okay,
Yeah,
built
there's
off
something
like
to
something
that.
like, yeah, that there's actually something to that, right? But
to like use
pretending
it,
like there was more value in NFTs than like actual art was like crazy to me. That's all that happened.
I don't know. People tried hard.
Everything that glitters ain't gold, man.
I think a lot of people discovered that if you put NFT dealer in your Instagram bio, a lot of other parts in your life made more sense to the government. But people didn't know that part. Anyway, that's funny.
Word.
That Bieber's NFT is not worth money no more.
Casanova got 15 years, man. This is just sad, yo. He got 15 years. He got ashed in the face.
Yeah.
Casanova's facing 60 years after pleading guilty to drug and racketeering charges. He distanced himself from his old crew, then just days later, his face got slashed in prison. And today we're breaking down the entire story. On Thursday, June 16th, Casanova was sitting in the Essex County Correctional Facility when a dude named Ulysses Lugo came at him with a blade. Casanova's face got slashed up, but he didn't just sit there and take it. Cass started fighting back, and that's when Lugo tried to run off, but got chased down by Cass and his homies. By the time the guards got there to break the situation up, Cass had allegedly already cut Lugo several times in the face too. It's not clear why Lugo went after Cass like that, but rumors are flying that it's related to a letter Casanova sent to the judge in this case a few days ago. He was accused of being a shot caller for the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang, and in 2020, he got taken down in a RICO indictment with 17 other Gorilla Stone affiliates. He pleaded not guilty at first, but later he took a deal and pleaded guilty to being involved with a shooting in 2020, a robbery in 2018, and selling between 100 and 400 kilos of weed. Even though Cass copped a plea deal, he's still facing 60 years in prison. And last week, he sent a letter to the judge where he talks about giving up the street life. Cass started the letter off by taking responsibility for everything in his past, but he told the judge he never had anyone to show him a better path, so he has to learn how to survive the streets by himself. He also brought up how he's been working with young people in the streets over the last few years and trying to lead them down a better path so they don't end up like he did. Casanova came up in the Flatbush area of Brooklyn and put both feet in the trenches as a teenager.
Right.
He dropped out of school in 8th grade and was in the streets full time.
Damn.
Yeah, yo.
I remember
he
like
ended up.
he was in jail and only got out in like 2020 or something like that too, right?
He ended
like
up, He ended up getting 15 years because this was a few days ago, and the 15 years got handed down today. Man, rough, bro. I love Casanova, man. I know people that know him. I like people from New York City that make it, that like, not just because, oh, I have ties to them. No, just because, like, yo, same thing as like being management at my company. I know how to verify that shit. You know what I'm saying? I know how to verify this shit now. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can understand if when you're talking on records, if you're talking a certain way, I know if it's authentic or not. And Casanova was authentic, man. And it's unfortunate to see him go down for these charges, and 15 years is a long time. Hopefully he gets out early, but like with situations like this already popping off, it's like, man, I could see that time getting like turned into more time, which is the catch-22 of the system. It's not like meant to like, prison's not meant to like help people improve. It's like meant to like end you, break you, and like throw you down the toilet and shit. So it's like, man, I hope he makes it out all right. I really fuck with Casanova.
Right.
Kodak Black went live and it's causing fans to worry.
Oh, Kodak Black.
The video looked crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, not crazy like that, just like crazy like, yo, I could tell he high. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't want.
What did I do?
I don't know. It's just private.
Casanova's
like
facing 60 years after pleading guilty.
Wrong video.
It's like somebody trying to take somebody posting a video of me taking a shit online. Like, it's just too personal. You know what I'm
Casanova's
saying?
facing 60 years after pleading guilty to drug and record.
Oh, shit! Did I fuck that
Did
up?
did I fuck it up? I don't know.
I think it's the same link twice.
Let me see. Go back to the what you call it?
Is it this
Topics.
one?
Oh, matter of fact, yeah, it is. I'm looking at it. Either that or.
Anyway, do you see it on the screen?
Nah, it doesn't. Yeah.
This first one? Or...
It's the one him sitting on the floor. Yeah.
Somebody please get Kodak the help that he desperately needs before it's too late. Kodak's recent Instagram live has got a lot of fans, including myself, concerned for his well-being.
All of a sudden, now y'all want to put this shit as a random. I missed a drug test. When I'm doing.
Somebody please get Kodak the help that he desperately needs before it's.
All right. I mean, that's hard because it's so short, but like, I also don't want to like find the full video. Like, I don't want to publicize shit like that. I just hope Kodak, like, you know, doesn't end up down a darker path or like a path that we've seen other artists go down and shit. He's wild talented. I fuck with Kodak heavy. He's like I understood when he was comparing himself to Tupac and Biggie and like saying that he's better. Like, I understood because like his level of rapping and like ability to like just captivate was like Tupac level to me. Like, where I was like, man, this guy is like, even over some mediocre production, sounds fucking amazing and enthralling, you know? And Tupac had that. And that's a rare artist that comes along like that. He's wild talented, man. I just hope he gets better.
Right.
Cuck 22, Pedo 22 becomes Cuck 22.
We'll call it Cuck 22. I think that's a better term for it. The other one is usually the YouTubers censor that one. But yeah, is there a link for that or are we just putting these pictures up?
The pictures are crazy. Right. I mean, it's a tweet, right?
So I put the picture of the tweet up. It's on the screen. Hold on, let me go back to you. Fuck, wrong one.
I see it on the screen. So, wait, did we cover this last week?
No, I don't know if we really got this far with it. Or I don't think we spoke on it.
No, I don't think so. I think this happened in between our like last.
Like I think it was like announced, but I don't think we spoke about it because like it was around then. But I did kind of see like there was the video of her on the bed with the black dude, and I was like, "Oh, is that Lena the Plug?" And I'm like, "It is Lena the Plug." Okay, I guess Adam 22 is okay with it. I was personally unaware that she hadn't banged other guys in their little porn endeavor. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought they was just fucking everybody on their podcast, to be honest. But so now I found that out, and you know what makes me feel weird about this tweet is that it exists. Because let me break that down for a second. If you really are okay with your man's or your woman getting fucked like that, none of this tweet would exist. There's no element of this tweet that would exist. There wouldn't be the I felt a little jealous at first overall, but why would you write all that? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. And then Then the
I
weird
mean,
original
in the
pre-BBC
video,
size, like all of that's kind of like, what are you saying, bro? This is I don't know.
I saw a video of somebody covering this topic last week, after Monday, and it was like essentially he posted some clips of like Adam on like within 24 hours of like the news breaking, him addressing it twice on his podcast. And one of the times Sharp is next to him, which is hilarious. Sharp's faces are hilarious.
Is Sharp the one that she banged, or?
Nah, Sharp is the ex pimp, former pimp,
Right.
that is now a podcaster turned viral. He's a cool dude. I fuck with Sharp. Like, I think that like guys that like listen to Andrew Tate, and they should like go listen to like fucking Sharp instead. Like,
Right.
you know, like Andrew Tate guys make guys into women haters. They hate women. Sharp doesn't hate women. Sharp loves women. You know what I mean? It's just the way he goes about it is just different. But like, I prefer that. But the point is, he brings it up with him. He brings it up with Crip Mac, and he said that to Crip Mac, where he was like, you know, that he was jealous, and then I don't know, man. It's all a bunch of stuff that like I've never dealt with any of this. Like,
Well,
the
like,
fact that any of it is like public knowledge is like, I don't know why it has to be.
I mean, look, they decided to make their whole thing polygamous in their content creation endeavors, and clearly they're in the porn game. I mean, one would assume that like if he's really like comfortable with who he is, then he totally gets that it's work, because he be fucking women for work, and there's no way that he actually wants to fuck every last one of these chicks. Sometimes it's gotta just be a job and shit. Like, sometimes it just has to be what it is if you're in that industry. So to have him come out like this, it's like, I don't understand who he's trying to appeal to. It really feels cuckish on some like, is this the like, maybe because he's such a content whore about it, he just realized if he becomes a cuck in public, they'll make more simp money or some weird shit. And like, I don't know, I don't get it. It's just a weird tweet that, like, to me, if he was mad cool with all this, wouldn't exist.
Right. I don't know, man.
It's very bizarre.
Very bizarre. I saw this online.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
Man, the internet's a fun place.
It is a fun place. But y'all let us know what you think of Cock 22.
Word.
Or
Twitter is under fire. It's in its last days.
Twitter's definitely going through it. Elon's having some trouble with data scrapers, is what I hear. Is what we're going with. Data scrapers. So he decided to add. I didn't even believe it at first. At first, I was like, this can't be a real thing. And then no, Elon is now blocking or restricting people's use of Twitter, and not just people, even the people who are paying for the new Twitter are being blocked. There are real restrictions. Like, you can only, because I think I count as OG non-verified. That's my category. Then if you have a new account, there's another tier, and then there's the verified club. And then basically there's just a limit on how many tweets you can look at in a day. Like,
I hit the limit. I hit the limit, and this is the thing. I don't be on Twitter crazy like that. Like I've just started back up spending a lot of hours. Like, I'll spend a lot of hours on if I'm on Spaces and I got the time. But like, for the most part, I don't be reading a lot of people's tweets and like searching. Like I usually just go to search trending topics or whatever
Yeah.
I'm watching and to see what people are saying about it. But like for the most part, that's it. So like if I ran and exceeded the limit pretty quickly, I can only imagine how quickly people who wake up to Twitter and go to sleep to Twitter were feeling within an hour or two being on
Nah,
Twitter
but
with
like,
these.
so like they
The
did
exceeded limits were crazy. I was
I saw
getting
that they're now
wild like,
speed
what?
running this shit. They made it a little speed run game to see how fast you could hit the limit, and the original limit was 300 tweets for a new account, and they were able to do that within 35 to 40 seconds. So like, they're saying that like without being ridiculous with it, it would take you about 10 minutes to go through 600 tweets, 10-15 minutes on some real shit. And that's what, like, I guess the limit is now 2,400 per day, which is higher because clearly Musk realized how bad of a fucking idea it is. Like, yo, just imagine any other site. Like, imagine YouTube and shit, and after 12 minutes, they're like, nah, bro, go watch your videos elsewhere. That is literally what Twitter just did.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can tell you this much: Black Twitter left. Like, Black Twitter is gone. I mean, listen, we're still there, but like, Black Twitter's on Spill, and Spill is popping.
I don't know what the fuck Spill is.
I'm on Spill already.
Is it
I'm
on
already on
Android?
Spill. I don't think so, buddy.
I was like, she's on Spill. I have it on my list of things to look at after. I'm like, is it available on Android? And then
Nah, I think I literally saw like at least one post making fun of that. But I think it was more. I think it was like a string of them. It's just,
oh no, there's no Spill in the App Store.
yeah, I don't think so.
This is just like fucking Clubhouse all over again.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
listen, Spill is lit, yo. I'm fucking with it. I really don't see a reason to go. I'd rather, like, I'm like, what? I'll put my energy and time into, like, something that we're starting, you know? It's not Black owned, or I think it's part Black owned. I don't know. I don't want to go on record about what it is or isn't because I don't know enough to talk about that. I know that there's two people who are like representative of the company who are like forward, like at the front. I'm not sure what they're like.
No, it's a Black-owned social media app.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I saw
I googled
stuff that was like, yeah, nah, I feel you. I googled too. That's why I'm like, not going official with anything. But like, irrelevant, you know. The point is, like, even if it's not fully Black owned 100% of the way, like, it's still like Black led, and it's all us that are going over from Twitter and taking like Black Twitter away from Elon Musk, which is like, he's gonna feel that shit. Believe. He's gonna feel that.
I mean, I don't even think it's gonna be the only community to make a move like that. I think it's just the first community. Like, in my prediction, the internet's gonna fraction the fuck out like this. Like, I think it's just happening. Like, dead ass, I have to admit, I might have been wrong about Rumble. I think big picture, I'm not wrong about it. But, like, motherfuckers are fucking with that app right now. I think it dies within a year. But I think that's what it's gonna be, is more of this piggybacking to, like you know, like how clubs work in real life. Like, the club's hot, and then for whatever reason the hot club is no longer the hot club and the new club is the hot club, and people can't always explain that shit. It just is what it is. And I think social media is, and the way the internet's broken up, is just gonna be like that, because I don't even know, like, none of it's working the way we want it. And so we all kind of want different things out of it. So it's really just, let me go where I want to go on the internet. Let me have these
people already gonna.
It's just we never really had options before. Or I don't think anybody believed that Facebook and Twitter would get this trash when we used to talk about options.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think that they still also provide, right? Like Facebook and Twitter have their own. Well, Twitter not so much because Spill is like they already kind of are doing the same thing. It's kind of the same type of interface, is just a little bit cooler, I think. Um, uh, I don't know. I think that there's still room for like, look, I still go to Facebook because I know that there's a whole community on Facebook that isn't really expanding anywhere else. And then where they are everywhere else, they're already my followers. You know what I mean? Like they're fucking with me. They're usually following me places, but like also not everybody's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people just fuck with Facebook. There's a whole bunch of people that just fuck with Facebook. That they're just that's all that they really fuck with.
Like my
Like
mom.
they'll download the app of some new shit and then they'll just keep on fucking with Facebook. That's the same thing with Twitter, right? Like there's people who are doing that. Like they got a spill profile, but they're still on Twitter. They're still going
Or
heavy on
or
Twitter.
like
You know what
they
I
want
mean?
to be like so my mom be on all the platforms, but the only platform she posts on is Facebook. But she's on all the
Right,
platforms. She'll be
right,
watching on all the platforms, but like, yo, I'll dead
right,
ass. It took me like 2-3 years on TikTok before I wanted to TikTok. You know,
right.
sometimes like it's also like I don't even really like Twitter. I don't understand it that much. I know that you say one wrong thing and the next thing you know you're waking up flooded with angry people on your ass. So like I
I
never
mean,
got into
yeah,
Twitter. I mean, some
something
of
like
y'all
that.
live.
So I never got into Twitter.
I just like
Um,
so like for me it's like fair. But I do think that Twitter's the easiest to replicate for the purposes of the micro communities
yeah,
dipping out. And
yeah,
it could be a spill's gonna be lit until a bunch of hipsters show up, and then because of money they're gonna let the hipsters in, and then
right.
y'all will end up
Um,
back on Twitter Spaces again.
we'll see. I mean, they don't have club. That's what Twitter still has that Spill doesn't have. Spill doesn't have uh spaces like audio function that Twitter has, which is Clubhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I'm like, I still have Clubhouse. I just don't go on there as much as I used to. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Social
man.
media shit.
I don't think that there's like a I think that people go you can go anywhere, you can go everywhere, you can do what your mom does, right? And like lurk everywhere and then like post on one in particular because it fits your format. Um
There's just a lot
that's
of
what I do.
pockets. And then there's
Yeah,
even
that's what
people
I
that
do.
still like Discord and shit. Like dead ass still playing Discord. Like I just think that things are gonna go more private. You're gonna start seeing more and more people on Twitch that are subscriber only, more and more shit that's pay
Hmm.
gated, and a lot less free. Everyone can come in, and it's not because like they really want your money. It's because you have to really want to be part of that club to pay to get in, just like the club in real life.
Yeah,
You have to
right,
pay club prices to get the club experience.
right,
So that's how I see
right.
this shit flipping. I don't know. Maybe y'all will pay $5 a month to make Spill lit. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, topic of the week, right?
I did ask ChatGPT ahead of time. I wanted to make sure it would work.
I mean,
I had to
right?
reword it
We could,
all.
we could, we could, we could, we could change the topic of the week because it's like, do you think that like these apps will last, right? Because like, think about it. Facebook is still going. Do you think Facebook will
No, all of them die.
last?
All of them
All
die.
of them died.
I mean, it's just like you can't look at them Apple glasses and not be like, nah, that's the future. Like, maybe it's not in the current phase, but at some point they're gonna be glasses like this that'll do what all the other crazy shit does. And like, at some point it'll be like a little bink bink and there's no glasses no more. And like, you get, like we were talking about TVs on the General Steel interview for one more little plug. Imagine the TV's just 100 bajillion inches, cause whatever size, and you just chilling in your couch. That's more lit when it's comfortable, and they're gonna make it comfortable. And once it's all 3D, I don't see how like Facebook's lit. They don't know how to do 3D. They clearly failed. They did it so bad. And then
I mean, I would think that I look at it kind of like that shit is just gonna make Ready Player One or the Ryan Reynolds version of that movie. I forgot what it was called. Like reality, which is like it's all in the world, right? But like in that world, then you have Facebook and you have Twitter and you have all these other things.
But I think
in
that
Facebook
has proven to fail to adapt to this market, and they're blowing money. Like, they don't survive. Maybe Twitter does, but I think what happens is once we get into this world, new social media company pops up, and all they know how to do is VR. They're like, fuck your text, fuck your old man shit, and it'll be a bunch of 17-year-olds that are on some next wave shit, and this new company, new things. That's what I think. Because I don't
Free
really
guy.
think...
There goes BC Pancake. Thank you, BC Pancakes.
Yeah.
Is that my man, the brand? I don't know. If you are the brand, hit me with a your. If you're not, just feel free to drop your name.
He said it's me. Yeah.
Word up. Free guy. Yeah, Free Guy was the name of the Ryan Reynolds movie. Which is like it's that, and it's kind of like which is kind of like the way that they depicted what was the Disney movie with the bad guy, good guy, Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph. The way they depicted it in Wreck-It Ralph, right? Like it's all like this. It's online, but like, or it's like it's in the metaverse, but it's like, yo, all this stuff like Hot Wheels, all these brands are gonna exist. That's why I don't think so, right? I don't think that they'll fail because at this point, Facebook is like Mark Zuckerberg, like this is his brand, and it's too big to fail. Like he can't let it fail, So he has to adapt to things because it's so big.
He's certainly trying to, but then Sony came in with the poof, poof, and then Apple came in with the poof, poof, and I ain't never seen... While I think Zuck could kick the shit out of Elon Musk in real life, in company land, I deadass think Facebook fucked itself. Yeah. I think big picture, like Oculus was supposed to be it, and then everyone else is just gonna go, yo, Mark, thanks for all the fucking money you spent so that we can come win. And like you said earlier, it's who cares if you were first? We fucking winning now, bitch. And that's what because Apple's like, there's no way that like Mark Zuckerberg makes a better VR product than Apple. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, that does make sense to me. Wait, no.
Apple would make the better product. He would not make it.
Makes the better product.
And then Sony would make a much better product than Mark. And then when you think about Mark, you're like, yo, you just busted open the door.
I expect it to be Apple that makes the best product, and then Sony does like second best.
And then Amazon will like study what the fuck they do and somehow have the like third rate. Samsung will come through, and like all of a sudden we're in a different world than what Facebook, because Facebook's got no IRL. They tried so many times to make IRL products, and they just exist in the world. Don't get me wrong, Oculus had a minute, but bro, I don't even think I would put my Oculus on right now, because like what am I gonna do with it?
Check it. Once it's up and running and everybody's on there, it won't matter which one you use, right? Like it'll all be through or is it that like if you buy the Apple, you're only with Apple people, and then if you buy like the Sony, you're only
Within
playing the
reason,
PlayStation
or
4
it'll be
to
more like,
45,
so think more
or
like the
like,
Windows versus iOS versus like that. And so we're gonna
yeah,
have the problem that I'm
okay,
facing now, where I can't get on your social media app because your social media app is only on Sony and this one's only for Apple kids, and it's
yeah,
gonna be
that's a
like
you
that.
problem. I look at like the green bubble text as a me problem. So now I understand what you're saying though, because it's the same thing.
But it would apply in all directions, kind of like how if we run back to movie theaters in the 90s, you had to go to all the theaters because the studios had specific exclusive contracts with each individual movie brand. So like famous players had the Batman movie, and then the next people would have
No,
this
it'd be
movie.
like you said, right? Like with that, where like there's a meeting ground, which is like, okay, this is where you're interacting with your friends who have a Sony or a
Yeah.
Amazon slash Samsung, right? And now this world is drastically different than this Apple world that we've created for you. And you can hang out there, but you can only hang out there with them
And
because
then there
you
will
have to
be
be over
other
here
ones
to
that are
be.
everybody worlds.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then it'll be
absolutely.
like Drake only hangs out in the Apple worlds. He never goes to the everyone worlds. It'll just turn into
Right,
shit like that.
right. It's got
And
to. It's got to.
then
I
if you
gotta
think
be
of,
in the Apple world. I can't be in no motherfucking Sony world. I'm like, what? Nah, son. Nah. I mean, don't get it twisted. If I played video games, then yeah, Sony all day, right? Sony kicked what's Xbox's ass? I
yeah,
guess that's
Microsoft,
Microsoft,
yeah,
right? So they kicked Bill Gates' ass. Um, for sure. Better system. So I'm going with Sony if we're talking about gaming consoles. But if we're talking about this like meta world and like the headset that I'm gonna cop when I do cop it, when it's all on and popping and kicking, I know for a fact I'm copping the Apple.
are
I'm
you gonna
copping the
cop the
Apple.
first Apple ones? Are you gonna cop them?
Nah, nah. Maybe like a couple months after they're out, depending.
Fair. I
Depending.
kind of
I
want
also
them
got to try
joints.
them on. I got to try them on first and like experience it on my own. You know what I mean? In the comfort of my home. So
I
like
want
one
to
of my
be
friends
one of
got to
them
come over
dudes
with
that
me.
just makes content from day one with them fucking Apple glasses, and now I'm an Apple glasses guy, and this is my whole life.
That is crazy because it's like, yo, coming from like a guy who had no Apple to like being an Apple glasses guy is like,
You gotta
what?
understand. I'm a VR
That
like
makes
into this world. Like I've been on this shit before it was cool. Like I was in it. I copped the VR before COVID, right? Like this wasn't
right,
like a
right.
trend for me. So
Hmm.
seeing Apple come through and drop the first appealing product in years, like yo, what they're charging makes sense to me, okay? Because of what
Yeah,
they're giving you. That shit's
right.
crazy. You don't even need a new TV. You don't. Anyway, I could go on for
No,
a
I'm telling
long.
you, yo, I think that this is good content for you, especially because of the fact that you haven't been an Apple guy all this time. So it's
And
like
then
this new experience of having a first.
nah, and then I watched all the tech people that I watch review the shit, and they were like, no, bro, you gotta understand, it's fucking flawless. Like your eyes control shit. It just knows shit.
Right.
Like, nah,
The
that's
brand
like,
is in the comments. He said that can never get the OG of anything. The first iPad was crazy unreliable. iPod, iPad probably too. He's right though. I'm definitely not like I'm not a lineup for the first one guy, right? Like, Apple didn't get me with their phones
right.
until like the iPhone 3. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
the
fair.
3 is when I jumped on. I'm usually not the guy to like run to cop the first one. Being the first isn't like what I said to you earlier. Being the first isn't the most important to me. It's like being the best with it. He says, I remember seeing Oculus Rift at Consumer Electronics in Vegas in the 2017, 2018, in like 2017,
Yeah,
2018. That
VR.
WR was, oh,
VR. I think
it
he means
says
VR. It says WR, but I
word.
think he means VR.
That VR was wild in theory, but it's come so far. Yep. I mean, everything is. Listen, we're living in the modern age. This is like exactly probably how old people who were in their 40s and 50s during the industrial era were probably feeling as afraid as people. It's just we don't have, like we were talking about last week, right? We don't have the thing that stored everybody's memories and feelings and like thoughts from like back in the day. And back then it wasn't like the cool thing to share those things on camera and on video. You know what I mean? So it's just like we don't have no record of that. But I'm pretty fucking sure. You wanna know why? Because nothing is like nothing under the sun is new.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
there's
like,
some crazy
been
crazy articles out there if y'all want to look it up, where like you can find real newspaper clippings of people tripping about the fucking shit where you click the telegram. And if you were to read these articles about the telegrams in the mid 1800s, bro, they may as well be talking about any technology you've seen today. It is almost word for word the same fears, the same everything forever. And that's 150 years ago on a technology we consider basic.
It's going to ruin the kids. Which, I mean, arguable. Hey, I was just talking about how dumb everybody is. So, you know what I mean? Maybe it did. I don't know. You know, it also created a lot of greatness. You can't stop. will.i.am was right. You can't stop AI. It's just another tool, and we just got to regulate it properly. And, you know, there's going to be people that use it for good and people that use it for bad, but it's like any other tool. It's like fire, and when fire was created.
Right.
You know? You don't see people just running around burning people alive. But, yeah, every once in a while, somebody burns somebody alive. What the fuck are you going to do?
I mean, yes, that's a fact.
Yo, humans, bro. Humans. I know better than to try to like fucking pretend that we're not the animals that we are. Let's go with trailer of the week. We didn't even talk about a topic of the week. We just
we made the new topic of social media died, but
Is it gonna be?
To answer your question, though, the term "cuck" is derived from cuckold, which historically referred to a man whose wife is.
We didn't even tell people that topic. Why would you fucking read that? People are like, "What?"
And then we did tell people the topic, and then we immediately pivoted.
No, we didn't. We didn't tell them the topic. We looked at each other and knew what the topic was, and then we never actually said the topic. And I said, well, should we actually, since we were talking about Twitter, talk about...
And then the people here can just go... and just...
People are like, he's right.
That's fair.
Or I'm wrong. He's fucking crazy.
Comments.
Trailer of the week. Comment. Leave it in the fucking comments, yo. I might be crazy.
I might be wrong. It happens. According to Bonnie, it happens all the time.
Bye, Dad.
Hi, buddy.
Love you, Dad.
Hey, Nance, where's the band?
They bailed. Sorry.
Seriously? I'm trying to run a business here.
Also, the bank called.
Hey, brother.
Joe?
I got something to tell you. Dad got a call yesterday from a guy at a record company. He says he heard our record and,
Our record? What do you mean?
Dreamin' Wild.
Great to meet you. Wanted to talk to you about this.
There it is. It's Dreamin' Wild.
That's you guys?
Yeah, that's us.
This album is unbelievable. Truly. It really just blew my mind. How did you do it?
Donnie made it all right here.
Donnie, what you got going on over there?
I'm just playing around.
Donnie's a genius, truthfully.
And then what happened?
We're gonna need some more money to get these last few songs finished.
My dad lost a lot.
We find albums that never found an audience. We try to give them a second chance. And based on all the buzz the record has got, you've seen that, right?
During its finest moments, to twist a Brian Wilson phrase, Dreamin' Wild is a godlike symphony to teenhood.
Brian Wilson?
Yeah.
Well, heck, let's celebrate. You got a gift. You gotta use it. I believe in you boys.
New York Times want to do a story on you guys.
Are you kidding me?
And now he wants it to be the kickoff for a tour. It's so weird to have this now. I'm not sure what to do with all of it. I have spent my whole life trying to make music. It's just fun for you. It's not just fun for me.
Feels so good walking side by side.
When we made that album, we were so happy. Just didn't know anything about the world. Things were a lot easier when I was a teenager. I'm just sorry, Dad, for putting you through all of it.
You're my son. I would have gladly given up all the land just to hear you play.
Looks kind of cool. I saw Zoe Deschanel. Zoe Deschanel is my girl. That's a good white woman.
That's a crazy. That's a whole crazy concept for a movie.
And it seemed like a cool. You know what I mean? Like it's about music, and it's a cool concept for a flick. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of white people. Too many for my taste, but I'll probably end up checking it out when it's on streaming.
Like, is it a true story?
Nah, I don't know. I didn't see anything about true story there.
Fair.
But yeah, I'll watch it when it comes to streaming. I won't be going to see it like I did Tiana Taylor's movie in theaters. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different vibe.
Different vibe. All right, songs of the week.
All right, let's play the first one.
I made my mind about. I made my mind about who I wanna be through experiencing it all. Purple bags of sour, been numbing the days I fall. The number spot was cash galore, but oddballs always ones trying to even the score. If it's eating these parts, main source is the world cold. There's an igloo, hard to stay low key in these rooms. It's quite an issue to consider. Growing in your pride, young Simba, it's hard to turn down the fact you're that nigga, right? Chess moves through shadow games. I need a bag today, fighting like Cassius Clay. Streets with immaculate aim, quick to be snatching the chain. Still made a path through the rain without a map in my brain. Hard lessons, some ways to survive, a bar blesser. Others have broad stretches, or really just Armageddon, huh? Or really just Armageddon, huh?
Grinding all my life, spend all day outside, that's how we gon' survive. Time to get that fucking power. Now we own the night. Atone for your sins, yeah, the streets need blood. Not enough Henny, the concrete need blood. Medium rare, yeah, the meat need blood. Yeah, your worst shooter never ever wanna meet us. Crime syndicate, meaning business, bitch. Shaking in your Timberland. Sucker, you know what it is. Bitches poppin' pussy off the precipice. I ain't never been a debater. I'ma do what I gotta, then apologize later. New York mind stated, yeah, I'm doing what I want. Brooklyn bitch, but I'm chillin' in the Bronx for no reason. Time to get that fucking power.
Shout out Cat.
Dama and Dizzy collaborated for a whole album. Go check that out. Yeah, yo, Projects Wildfire. They're wild dope, great rappers, both of them.
And then there was a Flacco video in the video there, if you caught that.
There was a little bit of cameo. There was a Littyyy Bro Flacco cameo. There was a Littyyy Bro's cameo.
Yeah. And Chris Chrome finally hit his 15,000 stream target, and we put this out.
The boy CC.
This is one of them joints I definitely heard a lot more live than I've heard studio.
It was early in the day, I was out on different turf, contemplating mistakes, what a trip. We instantly clicked, it's like our souls, yeah, suddenly switched. Yeah, the look in our eyes is something that we can't replace, even if you try to erase. You can pretend to hide it, but you know I'll retrace the steps and bring you full circle right back into place. Or perhaps you let me go, because the time is ticking while the wires to the bum. Neither of us are clipping, we both ready to explode. Take it as you will, we both living in the flow, knowing that there's nothing left for the toxins to corrode. Back of the room, in the corner, puffing O's right out the window, while you on the bed, crushing cans to the head, asking me to hold you close, I guess, for just a couple romantic ghosts. Watch as I glide right into the night, like I give a flying fuck about what's wrong or what's right, cause I'm not on my meds, no I'm not brain dead, I'm just living my disorder when I should be in bed. You're my distant lover, rarely by my side, I'm your distant lover, only show up when things are on the flip side. You're my distant lover, rarely by my side, I'm your distant lover, only show up when things are on the flip side. It was 1:45 when you linked me to slide. I'm surprised that I even crossed your mind, even for a second time. Heads blunt, yo, that's like breaking necks. Fuck it, yeah, I'm on my way. Whoa, 12 minutes flat, that's that, I arrived. You vibing off of serotonin consumed in pill size. Your pupils are dilated, I guess that's why you rocking sunglasses at night. Or is it out of fright? I see you curving my questions as you whisper all up in my ear. Baby, fuck me right, shit. Damn straight, I began to kiss you, knowing damn well this is gonna cause an issue. But you and I right now ain't got no time for tears and tissues, cause sunrise is imminent, and we both got a bunch of shit to do. Seems like we're just two people who won't accept the loss of our innocence. Watch as I glide right into the night, like I give a flying fuck about what's wrong or what's right, cause I'm not on my meds, no I'm not brain dead, I'm just living my disorder when I should be in bed.
Yeah, that's out over at the Behind That Suit channel for anybody that want to come over there and let that ad play.
Word.
Yeah, that's Chris Chrome's new joint.
Shouts to Chris Chrome. Shouts to
new
CC.
music video. I like it. I like the aesthetic he went for.
Yeah, nah, I like the whole concept. I already like the video in real life. I saw his breakdown on Facebook of what the video was supposed to be. I totally got it. So great concept, well executed.
You gotta shout out Breakfast Cereals, who edited that, shot it, and did her whole part for that. So if y'all want that video work, hit up Breakfast Cereals, who held that shit down.
Word. It's dope.
Yeah.
Good job, Breakfast.
Yeah. And then I guess that leads us up to the end of the show with what we're doing this weekend or this week and all that shit. I don't got no big plans. I'm trying to not do a lot the next couple of weeks because I'm going to do a festival in a couple of weeks. So it's I gotta focus on, life stuff and just bang out some shit and get back into music and a couple of things that got pushed aside while pursuing a bunch of other shit. So to do that sometimes it's you know what, I don't have to go out this week. I can just stay home and do home shit and work on shit and then go out next week because I'm gonna definitely end up
stack your paper.
All of that. And it's not even about paper. There's a bunch of ways to go out and spend $0. It's not about that. It's
Absolutely.
the time. It's just sometimes you just gotta stay home for a couple of weeks and make yourself sparse too, so that when you come back out, it has a bigger impact. And get back. I just saw this crazy app that makes beats in a video game kind of way, and low key, I want to see if I can make a beat on this video game app. Like there's shit out there to try that you can't do if you're not home ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Work.
And you?
Right. I'm going out tonight. There's fireworks popping off at Yankee
All right,
Stadium.
it's a holiday for y'all.
As soon as I get off, then tomorrow's a barbecue, it's July 4th. Then Wednesday is back to work. I gotta get I got a work social event that I gotta plan and make happen on type of work happening. So I gotta organize an event for about 200 to 300 people. And damn, I forgot what was coming in the weekend. That's just during the week. There's something coming this weekend, but I'm forgetting.
Right.
There's always something every weekend. Hopefully next week I can tell you guys about it. Unlike this weekend that passed.
So the question is, do you want to have a fun enough experience that you can't talk about it, or would you rather have a fun enough, one that you can talk about? Because that sounds like...
I mean, honestly, if I'm not talking about it, it's not always, like, fun. So
it's not a positive thing. Understood.
So, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully I can tell everybody about it next week. I call, you know what I mean? Have a good time. Enjoy myself. I think there's so many things. I know I missed Soul in the Horn last weekend. I saw Dama, Dizzy, Penn all linked up and went to Soul in the Horn. I did Bronx shit. Yeah, man. Good times had by all. Good times had by all. We didn't talk about Jonathan Majors. I mean,
we could squeeze that in.
Nah, can we?
Why not?
Listen, there's a lot of like friends of mine who are like on some heavy manosphere shit, and like they always feel like men are being treated unfairly, and they're celebrating Jonathan Majors. They said he won something, and it's like he just won. Like the NYPD is verifying him, but like it's not over. Like he still has another trial, and court of public opinion is trying to hang him. Like Rolling Stones wrote a hit piece. Like in the piece is like, like, oh, this situation, and then this other situation on set, and it's just basically like, yo, he's an asshole. It's like, okay, and we got audio and video of Christian Bale wilding the fuck out on set. We know for a fact, and it was like, oh, he stays in character, and he's an asshole. And it's like, they didn't say asshole. They said, they used other, delicate word.
That's what they mean when they say method actors go too far, though. That he's an asshole or she's an asshole.
Yeah, so it's like Daniel Day-Lewis was an asshole then, because Daniel Day-Lewis was a method actor. You know what I mean? Like, bro, people be assholes. That's not like grounds for like, oh, he's an abuser or he hits women. Like, from what I understand, the thing that he won is the NYPD verifying his accounts. So, like, he's not the aggressor. The girl was the aggressor.
And so, all that to say, wait till people investigate before jumping to conclusions and offering your perspectives. Sometimes you shouldn't offer your perspectives right away.
Sometimes you shouldn't. I just finished saying that because I saw a viral video of like a girl like hitting some kid, like smacking his face. Like she wasn't even hitting him hard, but she was doing one of these. And it's just like, why are you doing that for? Kid got up and fucking knocked her the fuck out. And it's like, well, oh well. Keep your hands to yourself. Sometimes we overshare ourselves and our thoughts. And we don't need to do all that sharing. She shared her hands way too casually with someone who's clearly not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your hands to yourself and keep your thoughts to yourself. We've started oversharing. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Think it through. Think it over a couple times, and then come back to me and let me know if you really care about it. You know?
There's such an irony to saying that on a show that's literally just us talking our thoughts on stuff that happened, but I love it still.
I thought
because
these through.
No, but we also both have a lot of experience with speaking online. Like, there is a filter that I am thinking.
Yeah, there's
like,
a filter. I'm
say,
filtered the fuck out on this show.
Because, like, you're aware that you say one wrong thing, you get clipped the wrong way, and even if, like, you don't mean it, like, you just sometimes, like, you don't want certain things said, like with your voice and your face and everything in public in these platforms. Anyway,
I talk crazy. I don't care, but mostly I'm like I don't like to say false shit. You know, so I like to do my studies before I talk about something. And then also, usually what I keep mostly filtered is street shit. Street shit is just like, I'm not gonna be telling y'all the shit that I know about street shit. Then I'm no better than Trap Lord Ross. You know what I mean? And like, that's not the way. To me, that's not like, I'm good. I'm not like starving for attention.
Nah.
If I was starving for attention, I could have got it that way a long time ago. I'm good. That's not my route. That's for someone else.
Trap Lord Ross and a few other ones. There's the Canadian ones too. I found one that was just like the life and times of top 5, and I was like, wait, isn't that the guy that robbed the dude? And anyway, there's a whole lot of Toronto stuff is what I learned on that guy's channel. I didn't watch a lot of videos. You just click and you're just like, I'm like, bro, I didn't even know Toronto went that deep. And I'm sure there's some French Montreal version. Guarantee you it's French though.
Yo, people are interested in that shit though.
Yeah, but I appreciate all of y'all. Yeah, sorry, go on.
People in different hoods are interested in people's lives in other hoods. I'm interested. I'm like, I want to see like favela videos, you know, like how it goes down in the favelas in Brazil and shit. How it goes down in the hood in Japan, Tokyo. Like, yo, what's that life like for the hood out there? Because there's a hood everywhere. Word. Yeah. Oh, you know what we didn't press play on, man? Our fucking goddamn Patreon video.
We did not, but I can go get that loaded up. And that's how we can end the show. And we'll get that loaded up while thanking y'all for watching and being here with us. And appreciating y'all for real. It means the world. For those who come to the live especially, because y'all make it like a real show. And your comments. And I know. And then we'll keep doing this live Mondays at 7 p.m.
Shout out to the people that also check out afterwards, though. Because you guys are views, right? Like, the live people are here during the live, but their view doesn't count towards the views on the video on YouTube. So the people that then go and watch us on YouTube, yo, thank you too, yo. Your shit is wild appreciated.
Too. And then we also just appreciate everyone, all of it, whatever platform and stuff. Right. But if you appreciate us beyond the like, comment, and subscribe, do we have a Patreon video for you finally?
Like the perspective.
Welcome back. It's your boy, the Perspectives Podcast. I'm your boy, Littyyy Bro Flacko. This Holden Stephan Roy. Say hi, Holden. Hi, Holden. The Lamborghinis are fucking revving their engines. You know what time it is. We're here in Times Square to talk to you about one of our special packages in the Patreon.
We're here to talk about the whole Patreon. All right, before we get to the levels, I wanted to break down who we are, what we do. We make the Perspective Show. This is our interview series where we talk to creative professionals about their journey, teaching us all new perspectives about life. On top of that, we have our extra show, Our Perspective. We go live and we stream our thoughts, opinions, and perspectives on the news that just happened. And we've got a whole new show that we cooking up, and we're going to tell the Patreon first, so extra little reason to sign up for that. I know you're watching and going, but hold it, how much it costs, what we gonna get, all that good stuff, so let me break that down for you. So for $5 a month, you can become a level 1 perspective. This gives you access to our private Discord and gives you special Patreon exclusive content. A level 2 perspective costs $10 a month, gives you the same stuff as level 1, that's going to apply to all the levels, and it gives you early access to all of our main episodes, plus special behind the scenes content, like what happens.
Holden has a lighter.
Holden doesn't have a lighter.
Holden
I
has
will
a lighter.
take his
Holden, you have a
lighter,
lighter,
too.
Holden?
I've been dying for this
Holden.
nigga to get robbed in New
Holden,
York.
you have a lighter?
I'm gonna be the nigga to rob him. Okay? That's right. You better stay the fuck out of this, Holden. Let me tell you something.
Holden, answer the fucking question. You have the lighter, Holden?
Don't you talk to my
Don't
white
you
boy like that,
fucking-
all
you
right?
see that?
He's my white boy.
You
Only
see
I
it?
talk to him like that.
Reverse.
At $25 a month, you become a level 3 perspective, which adds merch into the mix, where every couple of months we're going to send you something fly, to make it real nice. A level 4 perspective comes through at $100 a month, and this is where it gets special. You become the star of a Perspective episode. We spend the whole year learning about you, introduce something with same quality as everything we give to all of our guests. Finally, we have the level 5 perspective. It's the big one. It's a guided tour of either New York City, Montreal, a real New Yorker and a real Montrealer. You get to have experience of being live in Times Square. Someone who can get you through it, saving money and making sure you have the best time possible. We're going to take you through each of our respective cities. You can pick the one you want to go to, and we're going to make sure you have an incredible time. All terms and conditions are on the Patreon, which you can find patreon.com/perspectives, link in description. We appreciate you so much, and we're so glad that you want to join our community. Looking forward to chatting with you in Discord. Live long and prosper, everyone. See you.
Yeah, that's a first version of the Patreon video. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, we gonna make some changes and then have a next nicer looking one next time we show this shit. And yo, shout out Stefano who made the song, because he's in Montreal right now. Hit me up today, and he's coming down to see you. So I have to go meet up with him while he's in Montreal.
I was gonna say you better meet up with him.
He hit me today, and he told me he's at the
take a picture with
absolute.
him.
He's so far. He's at it's like from you to Coney Island. That's where he's at right now.
Yeah, yo. Yeah,
It's
yo.
like, damn, bro, the farthest you can be.
Socializing and shit, no?
But we gonna make that happen because
Oh.
he's in the city,
Yeah.
so it's gotta go down. But
Right.
yeah. So appreciate all of
Gotcha.
y'all for watching that, and make sure to hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/perspectives, and join us as we get better editing, because you help us get better editing. Thank you in the future. Appreciate y'all. Live long and prosper, everyone.
Bon bon.